we're going to talk about, in my opinion, the holy grail of PEDs. And I'm not saying that that's a black and white answer. That's just specifically my answer. And the PED I'm talking about is growth hormone. I absolutely love growth hormone. And I'm going to talk about why growth hormone is the key to unlocking the most growth and strength and performance potential with the least amount of risk. First and foremost, growth hormone is an endogenous hormone, just like testosterone and estrogen and so on and so forth. Your body does create it, it just doesn't create enough of what you want. So even if you take high amounts, your body knows what to do with it. Now, I want to clarify this. Growth hormone, even though it says growth in the name, is not responsible for growing you to 300 pounds of muscle on its own. The differentiation I like to make is that growth hormone creates the environment for that growth to happen. Let me clarify that. Taking growth hormone on its own, even if you were to take 50 IUs, which is a ridiculous amount. Like, I don't even know anyone who could take that, right? The point I'm trying to make, even if you take high doses, it's not going to grow much muscle. You'll have improved sleep, improved recovery, right? Improved fat utilization, right? And all the other downstream effects, but it's not going to build muscle because it's not anabolic. But what it does is creates the most perfect, beautiful environment for anabolic steroids to work. So what I like to classify growth hormone is steroids for steroids. But again, the risk is very low. So what does growth hormone do? Growth hormone, along with other steroids like testosterone and things of that nature, they all affect mainly what's called insulin growth-like factor 1, IGF-1. Okay? IGF-1, again, in a very simple way, creates a more anabolic environment. Okay? It gets the cells and the DNA and the proteins all primed to more efficiently create muscle protein synthesis, therefore more muscle growth, right? So it supercharges that pathway. In addition, it helps to flush the nutrients that it needs there. It just, again, it creates this easy way to imagine if I'm sitting at my desk for work and everything I need is right here. I don't need to get up and walk to the copier. I don't need to walk up and get my lunch. Like, it's all right here and it's convenient, and then I can just get everything done. Okay? So with that being said, it is something that also needs to be taken regularly for long amounts of time. Generally, muscle cells and most cells have a lifespan or take about 180 days to mature. That's 6 months. So that's why if you're taking growth hormone for anything less than that, like, yes, you are still getting some of the short-term benefits, the improved sleep, the improved fluid retention, improved pumps and glycogen retention, all these sorts of things are happening in fat oxidation. But when it comes to actual muscle growth, it takes a bit longer because it takes longer for those cells to turn over, okay? That's where the term growth hormone comes from, right? It's a hormone that helps grow. Now, in that same vein, it grows all cells, okay? So you can't specifically tell growth hormone to only go in the muscles. So that's organs, that's skin, well, skin is an organ, right? All these sorts of things. So it is something to consider, right? That if you're having growth happen at a rapid rate, everything else is gonna grow. And that's where a lot of the unfortunate myths around the negative side effects of growth hormone come, okay? For instance, like oversized organ growth or acromegaly. I always mispronounce that word. But in those sorts of scenarios, you need to be taking high doses of growth hormone for years and years and years. A therapeutic dose is anywhere from 2 to 4 IUs for male or female depending, right? The body naturally for a man creates between 2 to 3, max 3 IUs per day. So if you want to supplement that with 4 IUs, 6 IUs, 8 IUs, you're never gonna see that sort of growth or those issues. Now, I will preface with this, the one main factor is, again, because it grows all cells, if you do have cancer cells present, it'll stimulate the growth of those too, right? So that's why it's important in a perfect world for you to get tested for these sorts of cancer markers to see if you do actually have cancer cells, to make sure that you're not stimulating that to grow any faster. Now, going back to the main point, the reason why I like growth hormone so much, okay? What is also required for muscle growth besides eating protein, right, weight training? Sleep, okay? You get to a much deeper and more restful quality sleep with growth hormone, right? So you're sleeping better, you're sleeping longer, you're recovering, okay? In addition, it helps drive a little bit more fluid into the joints and the muscles, which not only protects them, but creates better pumps and also creates more leverage for you to be able to train harder, okay? In addition, it's going to help with fatty acid oxidation. So essentially, you're a little bit more in fat burning mode with growth hormone. So it allows you to eat a little bit more, stay a little bit leaner in the off season, right? And utilize a bit more fat as far as body fat's concerned in times that usually you worry about putting it on, right? It's not a perfect fix, the more growth hormone you use, the more body fat you lose, but it is going to help that. So, among other things, the whole point I'm trying to drive home is growth hormone is pretty benign. The side effects really range from your tolerance to increase in blood pressure or water retention and sodium manipulation or electrolyte manipulation. So sometimes carpal tunnel or numb hands becomes a thing. In addition, depending on the sourcing, right? So nowadays, it is much more prevalent to buy generics, or not even really generics, just underground brands of growth hormone. I think we've gotten to the point now where they're a lot better, right? So even though they're bought from China, India, and those sorts of things, they're still pretty good quality compared to buying pharma. Because truthfully, buying a Serostin, Genotropin, or something like that is going to be very, very expensive. And yes, I do think that the juice is worth the squeeze in regards to growth hormone. If you're somebody who's on a budget, you're probably not going to be able to afford enough for long enough when it comes to the pharmaceutical. But fortunately nowadays, buying the generics or the underground labs are good enough. Now, running again growth hormone is going to be it's going to allow those steroids that you're doing to work much better. And one last point I like to bring on it, because again, I did say that I wanted to keep things super basic. Growth hormone is not an advanced PED to use. It's not, too many people think, well, you start with this, then you go to this, then you go to this, then you go to that. Again, growth hormone is always within the body. Testosterone is always within the body. It is a very, very familiar hormone for the body to use, right? So starting it early would probably be advised only after you understand your tolerance for testosterone and other compounds to get some exposure. But there's never too early to utilize growth hormone. Too many people utilize it too late. And they actually don't realize that maximum growth, if you look at these open guys or the biggest guys, they all use growth hormone. You have to use growth hormone. So my goal today was to give you a little bit of insight into the benefits of growth hormone, not to condone the usage of. This is solely for educational purposes. But I do want to talk about the power of growth hormone, the simplicity of growth hormone, and how it can complement what you're already doing. If you want more information, or you like this information and want more, please subscribe to my channel. If you want to know what it takes to work for me one-on-one, go to the application link in my page bio, fill it out, and I'll reach out to you.